Listen, before we begin, I have to put this up here right in front so that there's no misunderstanding. Nothing presented in this recorded recovery seminar is intended to be, listen, nor does it constitute diagnosis of anything of any kind or medical anything of any kind. I don't do that. Others do that. What I do is present some things from another way of looking at them to see if they can be of some help. I put another spin, another angle outside the box for those who struggle. So I'm reaching out. I'm reaching out to help them. See if in this that I presented to those in attendance on that day and how I presented it to them, you too can find some new and helpful understanding. This is an outside-the-box, another approach recovery seminar for those alcoholics and addicts who struggle with their sobriety, many of whom have relapsed again, and yes, yet again. See if it helps you. Here's the seminar. So the seminar is called The Difference Between the Price and the Final Cost. Now, everybody knows the price of the drugs. And everybody knows the price of the alcohol, isn't that true? And you use. But possession of the substance, the illegal substance, is a crime. So you know the price that the dealer wants for whatever it is you're going to buy. But then you have the final cost, which is, I knew the price when I bought it, Rev, right? But I got arrested. And I went to jail, Rev. And in jail, I got into trouble. Anybody understand that? Let me see hands. And then I got into more trouble. Wow. You knew the price, and look at the trouble you're in. As a result of that, what you're experiencing then is the final cost. And a girl said, and I did this in another seminar, she said, listen, I know what the consequences are. I want to do what I want to do. Rev, get out of my face. Knock it off. She said, I could handle the consequences. And it was true. What she knew the consequences to be, she could handle. But what happened was, consequences have other consequences. Just like when you get arrested for use of the drugs, and she got arrested, and she put up a struggle. They said she resisted arrest, and then she assaulted the officer, and wound up in jail, and up in prison she got cut. She lost her children, and the consequences had consequences. So when you start the ball rolling, and the irony of it, she said, it was only a dime. Wow, some dime, huh? Yeah, some dime. And she'd heard this, and she'd heard of the seminars, and like many, she said, yeah, but Rev, come on, man, like, you talk and you talk. I'm not that interested in it. I said, but now you're interested in it, look at this. So she knew the price of the bag, but she would never look at the possibility of the final cost. There is a difference, you see? And the final cost can be things that you can't reverse, like your life can be disfigured. She said, they cut me. That's not the disfigured that I'm talking about. Prison by itself disfigures your life. How many know that? Come on, hands here, participation. And the other thing that disfigures your life is that you have a rap sheet. You see it? And the other thing, you know the price of the drugs, but what about when you use? Yeah, Rev, I didn't get arrested. Whoa, but now you're homeless. How many can see this? That disfigures your life, homelessness. And the young lady said, I knew the price. I knew the price of the bag. I knew but oh my God, she said, and she cried. She said the final cost was I lost my children. Anybody seeing the difference between the price and the final cost? And what I'm saying here, let me show you the importance of it. Just listen to me. Is that your behavior, and I say this so many times, but again, if you're listening out there, I got a group of people here. They've been in and out of AA, in and out of NA. And they say, well, you're not talking about the steps, and you're not saying what they say. No, I'm not. What I'm saying here is that there is a difference between the price and the final cost. Now, there's a bridge. What kind of bridge? The bridge between the price and the final cost. It's called behavior. And I talk about the behavior. What causes the person to go to jail? It's the drugs. No, it's the behavior. No, you said they went for drugs. The behavior preceded the getting the drugs in your hand. How many can see that? The behavior came ahead of getting the alcohol. Can you see it? And you absolutely knew it was wrong. You knew there was a risk. So why don't I want to talk about the alcohol and the drugs? Why don't I talk about what's up in front of it that causes you to wind up with that in your hands? That behavior, listen careful, creates the conditions and circumstances of your life. When you are an alcoholic and an addict, behavior plays the major role in winding up in jail. Can anybody see that? But I went for the drugs. How many stole to get the money for the drugs? Whoa, look at this. Behavior. The behavior is what causes you to lose your job. Can you see that? The behavior causes you to lose your home. The behavior causes you to lose your children. And you see, talk about the alcohol and the drugs. Let somebody else talk about that. I'm showing you something here. That you know the price of the alcohol on the shelf, or you know the price of the drugs. But man, there is a final cost at the end of that you can't afford to pay. Who can afford to pay the final cost of going to prison? Nobody, huh? And the guy said, well, I never thought about it that way. I just did what I wanted to. I know. That's part of all the seminars that I do. The wanna. The wanna do, I gotta wanna do, I wanna do what I wanna do, and I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, Rev. Whoa. You are? Where do you see where it gets you? Well, how do I stop that wanna do? It's powerful. I see what you're saying. I know the price of the alcohol, I know the price of the drugs, and I want to do it. I know the price of the drugs, and you're telling me the final cost, but you ain't getting through to me. You're not getting through. I hear what you're saying, but your words ain't kicking. The final cost, Rev, is something I never really experienced. You might say, I still want to do what I want to do. Can anybody raise their hand on that? So you might say to yourself, what is this final cost that's supposed to shake me up? Well, if you knew it, listen, if you knew what was wrong, if you knew it, why did you do it? I did it, Rev, because I wanted to do it anyhow. You mean you went to jail? You mean you lost your children? You mean you became homeless? And you still want to do it? Why? Because, Rev, you always talk about a bottom line. Let me give you the bottom line right in your face. I do what I want to do because I like it. I like it, that's why I do it, Rev. And you can talk to me till you're blue in the face, and I like what I like. Man, Rev, what the hell kind of seminar is this? You're supposed to help us. Yeah, I am. What's the matter? I'm not helping you along the party line ways. How about I do it another way? How about I do it this way? How about I do it straight up and raw dog? How many people can see themselves in what I've shared here so far? Let me see hands. Every hand in the room went up. And nobody does this. Why should they? And they don't have to. But I do. I do it because I care enough to say that if I can get through, if I can rattle your cage, listen, if I can shake your tree enough, and you say, I remembered the guy he presented. They call him Rev. He was passionate. He goes at it, man, with everything he's got. And he says things in a way you might say to yourself, that I never looked at it that way. You might say to yourself, I did the bid, I lost my kids, he said, and I got homeless, and I'm still doing it, son of a bitch. This guy brought me, you could say, face to face with myself. You might say to yourself, I'm sitting here and I need to hear something because I'm a person who knows the price of the alcohol and I know the price of the drugs, but I absolutely cannot fathom the final cost. A gray-haired guy they called Rev said, when the final cost has to be paid, I won't be able to pay it. Won't be able to pay it? What do you mean I won't be able to pay it? Your life will be damaged, you understand? Disfigured. You want to pay that price? You can't undisfigure your life. There isn't anybody that's gone to prison that doesn't have a story to tell. There isn't anybody that had their children taken away by CPS that doesn't have a story to tell. Anybody seeing the difference between the price and the final cost? Nobody that has become homeless that doesn't have a story to tell. There is a difference. There is a difference between the price and the final cost. Everybody could afford the price. But man, when that final cost bears down on you, and you say, son of a bitch, he said there are consequences and that the consequences have consequences. And those consequences have consequences. And you could say, he said, life is a book. Every day you live, you write a page by your behavior. No erasures allowed, son. You can't rewind. You pays your money and you takes your choice. And you can't go back and you can't undo it and you can't erase the rap sheet. And I'll tell you what, you can't erase the homelessness. I know that because I knew the price, but I never fathomed the final cost. So I became homeless for 6 years. How's that? That's true. And when I became homeless, I knew what it meant to have your life disfigured. And I said, man, if I keep dealing with the price, there's going to be a final cost beyond this that I can't pay. Is this making sense to anybody here today? Is it helping you? And listen, somebody listening, all of the audiences over 28 years, they've used again and again, some for years, you see, and they don't get it. Let me show it to you in a way in which you haven't seen it. And people say, man, the way you broke that down, I got it. Why is that, Rev? Because one size does not fit all. And there are people that don't always get it one way, and they can get it another way. If you show them something from a different angle, they look at it from a different angle, they see it from another angle, and they say, wow, I never looked at it that way. No, you never looked at it the way I'm sharing here today. How many can see this? So I'm showing it to you from another angle. You could say, man, like that's outside the box. Yeah, it's outside the box. I do it that way, and I could tell you what the others say. I know it and I could. But the audiences are people who didn't get it. So I say, let me use this just as another resource in addition to what others say. And so the name of the seminar is The Difference Between the Price and the Final Cost. And I can tell you through the years, the people who lost their freedom, one guy 25 to life, he knew the price, but you couldn't shake him to say the final cost, the final cost. And he couldn't hear the words, the final cost, because he had a want to do what I want to do that was so strong. In his heart, he was saying, I want to do what I want to do at all cost. I'm going to do what I want to do at all cost, even if it costs me all. Even if it costs me 25 to life. Even if it costs me losing my home, I want to do what I want to do. Even if it costs me all. That was his message. How many people here can raise their hand? And you out there listening, I'm talking the language of your heart, baby. I ain't talking from words on a page. How many can see this in yourself, that you're willing to do what you want to do at all cost, even if it costs you all? It will cost you to where you can't come back, man. Has this been helpful to you? Hey, if you found this outside-the-box recovery seminar that I just presented helpful to you, then share it. Share it with friends on Facebook and on Twitter and on your other social media accounts. You may help someone else's recovery by doing that. Well, that's the seminar. It's important, however, to understand that it's not offered as a replacement for your participation in the treatment and self-help programs that are available. It's offered to you for the purpose of opening new understanding and to encourage you to get into the appropriate self-help and treatment programs that are available for your life. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you around.